Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back, guys. And it is that time of year again. We got to food the feed, or feed the food. I'm down here at the valley, and I'm spreading my dry fertilizer for the year on my first cut grass. And well, everybody wants to compare it to last year. It feels like we're running so much farther behind, but we're, what, 2 or 3 weeks behind last year, which isn't the end of the world, even though it sometimes can feel like it. We're actually probably more close to where we really should be, calendar-wise. We're the 18th of April. I mean, I think I was spreading this like early April, maybe last week of March. And they're calling for rain tomorrow night, which Wednesday night, when I thought it was Wednesday, it's 95% chance of rain, which is why I want to get this dry fertilizer on. It'll work it into the soil and really get this grass taking off. I can definitely tell. I've been building up the soil down here, and I can definitely tell from last year on the grass that is currently growing, it's really starting to green up just here lately. And I can definitely tell from the fertilizer that was applied last year is that it's definitely benefiting from it. I mean, I can tell on the areas that didn't get the dry last year, they're thinner. They're not as, they don't look as green, as healthy. And it's definitely showing that all this hard work and stress is paying off. I say stress just because this fertilizer going on is getting kind of pricey. So it all comes down to making sure that you're managing it properly and you're not just throwing it on. Last year I put on definitely a build-up ratio, or a build-up rate of 250 pounds, and I'm running, well, I'm running more than half of that, but pretty much just not really looking to build the soil this year. I mean, managing your costs, right? And right now I'm looking to at least maintain what's currently in the soil for what we're taking out. And I'm going to be going through and doing the second and third pass liquid nitrogen. I mean, Andrew recommended I cut out one of those passes. I might consider it, but the problem is I also can't afford to short myself on a second or third crop, because you can't sell a crop if you're not giving it the nutrients and the food it needs to produce. So plus, like I said, we got a baler we got to pay for, so as far as everything down here though, I'm trying to do all the leveler areas, the easier running stuff. The field over there, and actually parts of this field, have some low spots that do like to hold moisture, where I can have another 4640 moment where I can be driving right along and I can sink. But I'm also a lot more confident doing this, or doing anything down here, with the 76. I mean, I've had the camera on when I've lost confidence in the 76 once or twice now, where it caught my uncensored reaction when the tractor quits moving. But the longer you operate on ground like this, the more familiar you get with it. And this isn't my first rodeo down here, but it is actually one of 2 bottoms that we're running now. So it's that, well, I guess I don't know if I want to say it gave me confidence to take on the other place, but as far as this goes, I don't have the ability, let me rephrase that, I am unable to spread all of my dry fertilizer down here across everything, because a fair share of the lower bottom and part of the upper bottom have standing water on them to the point where I know I can't get across it. I mean, I gotta see what, maybe I should go back and see what last year's buggy had on it. This car definitely has, you know, the nice floater tires on it. Last year's buggy, I was dragging that through the mud, creating some pretty wicked ruts. And I didn't even feel it with the tractor. And I don't want to risk doing that again this year because I got to deal with those all year long. Do my best to try to drive over them and kind of mash them down, but it wasn't until I was down here doing picking up the bales for third cut, the final cutting last year, when you really couldn't tell they were there anymore. So it's just not something I want to do. And it's more or less what's going to happen on that is I'm probably going to get the sprayer mounted in the back of the Gator. I'm not going to put nitrogen down with the Gator, just absolutely not. What I'm thinking on doing is I got that Radiate Max, which I was spreading Radiate last year. It's a PGR, and the stuff I was spraying last year was to develop and improve or promote the root growth, the root development of the plants. And this time around on Radiate Max, you know, because everything is a plus or a max anymore when you talk about new products, this stuff is meant to increase foliar growth, so the actual plant, the leaves themselves. So I'm looking forward to trying that this year. The primary plan was to use that spraying for my second and third cuttings. When I go through after I put my nitrogen down, because I'll cut my hay, make the hay, wait a week, put nitrogen down, wait a week, get that little bit more growth on it, and then I go through with weed and Radiate foliar. So if I had the ability, which I kind of do but not really, spraying for weeds for my first cut, I would, but the 46 is hooked up. It's not the end of the world to have to unload that or unhook it from the planter, but I'm not a big fan of that 3-point sprayer. I mean, to spray 100 and some acres, it takes me all day, and not an easy long day. I mean, that's a long day of pretty much not stopping or slowing down, or just basically trying to be spraying constant. And a different sprayer is on my list of my wish list, I guess, but I'm gonna keep using it for a while yet and see how things play out this year. I mean, I'm pretty much to the point I'm not even interested in looking at equipment. It's not fun to anyway, but I'm looking forward to this year. I mean, there's good reasons to look forward to this year. I think we got good growing conditions coming. It's just that for us, I was originally going to start planting beans on this upcoming Friday, but they're calling for rain tomorrow, so Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Well, it's not so much even the rain in the forecast anymore, because our fields are actually, we're sitting good on moisture. I mean, we don't have an abundance, but we're not downright panicking that we're dry. I mean, honestly, my personal opinion is I would rather have it too dry than too wet. I mean, especially this time of year. Let me get the crops in. I mean, I would really like to be able to get first cut off in June when I would like. But last year was awesome. If I could have another growing year like last year, I mean, I'd take that for the rest of my farming career. I mean, stress the crop early on. Make it, the roots actually have to dig down, find moisture, find the nutrients that are in the soil, and then turn the water on. Worked great for us. I mean, not everybody is the same. I completely get that. I'm not saying that everyone farms and has the same needs that we have when it comes to what we do to be productive on the farm, but I think we got good reasons to look forward to this year. Haven't looked at the new baler yet. Haven't looked at the disc buying. The planter's ready to go, but that's just it. Stopping down here to do, to feed the food is kind of like a short detour off of what the rest of my focus are on. Because Dad and I didn't film it because you guys bouncing around in the skid steer with me, picking up rocks. I mean, Rolina rode with me for 100 feet last night. We had to quit because I had to watch Rolina. I thought I could get away with it, but I get it why she didn't want to ride doing that. It's rough. I mean, you pick up a rock and then you gotta sit and back up and pick it up, knock the dirt out of it. And the thing is with that rock bucket is that you're trying to get the rocks, you're just trying to skim them and try to get the majority of the dry dirt that's on top of the ground, because otherwise you get any moist dirt in between those teeth, those tines, and it plugs the bucket, and then you got to dump it and try to dig the rocks back. It's time consuming. I mean, it's hard on my back, it's hard on my ankles, it's hard on my butt. I mean, my whole back end, my back too, was pretty sore by the time we got done doing that. But we went through my place. We got all the planter breakers, the equipment breakers picked up. By the equipment breakers, I mean picking up, going through and making sure you're getting the biggest rocks. I mean, because there's no such thing as picking up every single rock. It's not possible. I mean, you gotta realize what your expectations are and go from there. I'm not wanting to leave the boulders where like they're a foot or 2 feet across. We had, I think, 5 of those across 80 acres that we checked. So at least that's done. I got to come down here. There's some trees I want to scrape up. I don't know if I'll do that tomorrow because hauling corn tomorrow. I think Ryan needs some help. Otherwise, I got some random things I want to do to the 46. I know it's low techie, but I got a Bluetooth speaker designated just for the 4640. Basically just so I can listen to music without having to do something, rather drastic with the speakers or the radio, the 46. Because I do know there's going to be some long days planting coming ahead, which I'd welcome at this point, because it gets down and it was what, 21 degrees out when I got up this morning, and it's kind of hard to get excited putting seed in the ground when it's getting down to the 20s and 30s at night. And then I think the high was 46 for today. I mean, tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 60s for that rain that's coming through, but it's got to be a little bit more consistent, which by next week it's pretty much basically the 1st of May. We're going to start putting seed in the ground. So I don't want to start losing yield potential, which they say anytime after May 1st, then you start losing yield potential on soybeans. I like being done, corn and beans both by May 15th. So my overall mood starts to deteriorate the closer we get to May 15th, depending on how much we have left to plant. I mean, it sounds kind of mean from an operator standpoint, but it's true. I mean, we all got a lot of money on the line for this. So I'm gonna hang you guys up. I mean, I would have liked it on an overview video, just put the camera back here, but I kind of value my camera mounts and my GoPros, and I don't really want to get any of this urea AMS on my camera. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more planting videos and probably a couple more shed videos yet. So Until next time.